Hi, this is Sive Morten with the daily update on EURUSD. I post my exclusive market overviews with the key political and economical events, charts and important levels on the ForexPeaceArmy.com forums weekly. This short video is a response to rapidly changing situation on the currency markets and should help you to stay on top of the game and be profitable. I suggest you to visit the ForexPeaceArmy.com forum and read my analysis for the week before watching this daily video. Hello ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the technical analysis of the Forex market from the ForexPeaceArmy.com. Today we will continue to talk about Euro. Well, yesterday's price action on the Euro has been very sloppy. Well, but in general, market has reached our target that we have discussed during the previous whole week. This area of resistance, strong area of resistance. Now we can see some reversal on the day time frame. This is daily time frame. Now, the daily chart we will use only for estimation of the possible target on the daily time frame for the move to the downside, because trend is still bearish. Market neither oversold nor overbought currently, so a lot of room for the further move as to the upside as to the downside from the point of view of the oscillation predictor. Well, that's why we will just estimate the possible target on the daily time frame. Let's take a look at it. Take a look at this pattern, A, B, C, top. Okay, the first target 618 expansion 134.12 is just below the previous lows at B point 134.24. The next target 132.92, 133 roughly, but this point is quite more interesting currently than this point. Why? Because as you can see, this target is below the previous lows. It means that the probability of renew of previous lows is very high, and the stops that have been placed just below these lows, the people who trade on the long side of the market, with a great probability will be triggered by the market when it will reach this area. What will the price action here be? I do not know. This could be just wash and rinse, for example, of the previous lows, and market again turns to the upside. But this could be an acceleration. It's not very important currently, because on the daily time frame we see that the target 134.12. Okay. Now let's take a look at our hourly chart. It's a bit complicated with the different details, but I think that you're familiar with this because we discussed these patterns during the whole week. Okay. First of all, look at this butterfly sell pattern that has been accomplished precisely at the area of the weekly pivot point around 135.90. Okay, here's 127 expansion from this swing, from this high to this low. Also got this ABC pattern, A, B, C, 100% expansion right here, D point 136.02. Almost pips to pips, market has accomplished it. Also, this is weekly pivot point and daily confluence resistance that we have discussed very often previously. As you can see, this C point is below this point, so this point has been erased by this C point, so we have to build new ABC with the new C point. Okay, that's why this ABC is valid. Now, currently we can say definitely what this price action is. Is this just a reaction on this strong area of resistance, so just a respection of this area, some bounce and the market will try to push through it, or this is the starting of the move to the downside? Okay, but that I can say, hourly trend turns bearish. You can see the nice angle of attack of the lines of the MACD. It's a very nice piercing signal. It's almost right here. You can see that it has happened after that. Well, yesterday this was just a doom and gloom. Okay, so that's absolutely tremendous move to due to the micro data that has been released on the United States trading session. Okay, or this is just starting of the move to the downside, but I see that daily trend is bearish, hourly trend shift bearish. Well, we have the context for the entering on the short side of the market. Besides, market has accomplished butterfly sale, market has failed around the pivot point, it has accomplished ABC pattern, and just above the market strong area of confluence resistance. So I prefer to sell right here, because this is really nice strong resistance area, and market can start move to the downside. For that purpose, let's take a look at the 15-minute chart, how to enter and where we can place the stops. Here's the 15-minute chart. Trend is also bearish, as you can see on the MACD predictor line. Okay, this is two areas of strong resistance, confluence resistance: 135.64, 135.73, 135.71. It's above the high of this. Just above the market weekly pivot point. Market has failed here. Okay, and 618 resistance from the whole swing to the downside. Well, I think that to place stop will be logical above the weekly pivot point or even above the previous highs, because this is the completion of the butterfly. Well, and the distance between current level and this level is not very big. This is just a bit about 50 pips. Okay, for entering on the short side you can use deeper retracement. I think that it could be 135.70 or even 135.84, because market turns to the downside from the previous retracement. Well, it's very difficult to say currently what the retracement could be. Maybe even one of these levels. So just watch for possible levels to enter. You can also apply the partial enter. For example, 50% of the position you can open from this confluence, and rest part of position from this confluence resistance. This will be also logical, but place should be placed anyway above the weekly pivot point. If market will accelerate to the upside and will hold above the weekly pivot point, then I think that will be logical to close the short positions, because market should stay below the weekly pivot point if it intends to accelerate to the downside. It should not break the pivot point above again and hold there. If this will happen, means that current move to the downside was just a reaction on the strong area of resistance just above the market. It's just the response, the respect of this area resistance. Once market has touched it, then it starts to touch it again. So this will be unwelcome scenario for the continuation of the bearish move on the intraday charts. Well, but currently I see the acceleration. We see this impulse candle to the downside of the 15-minute chart, some impulse move to the downside. So I think that possibly this is the start of the new wave on the downturn. Okay, so that's been said. All trends now are bearish. Market just has reached a strong area of resistance and accomplished a couple of targets. ABCD guardless pattern has been accomplished. Butterfly sell accomplished. So I think that is suitable time for the attempt to enter on the short side. Besides, now you can place very tight stops. Okay, anyway, place stops above the weekly pivot point. So it could be here, for example, 136, or even above these highs. This will be also logical. To enter, I can't currently say from which point it's better to enter, because this retracement to the upside just has been started. Well, you should shift to the 5-minute chart to estimate the possible reversal patterns from this confluence resistance, all this, or you just can apply the partial enter from this confluence and this confluence resistance areas. Okay, so possibly we can see the acceleration of the market to the downside, because previous move on the hourly chart, sorry, this daily, this move is not the impulse move. This is just a retracement, choppy, sloppy consolidation to the upside. Okay, so this is absolutely retracement behavior of the price. So I think that the market can accelerate to the downside.